Hey everybody, we are live here today with Mandy Jones, our content manager at Paid Memberships Pro. We're going to be diving into gamifying your membership site today, which can be really awesome to keep your members engaged with your content and potentially other users as well. So while a few people come into the live stream, we're just going to hang out for a minute. We don't want to jump in too quickly. Mandy's always working on our content and improving documentation for us and everything.
Hey everybody, welcome.
If you submitted a question previously to starting the live, let me know that you're here so I can make sure we get your question answered while we're on stream. Nice to see some familiar names in the chat too.
All right.
All right, I will share Mandy's screen and have Mandy take it away.
Hey guys, nice to see you all, and thanks for showing up for our open office hours this week. I'm excited to talk to you guys today about gamifying your membership site. It's with memberships in general, it's so important to have good engagement, get people coming back and wanting to keep paying you on a regular basis. So it's a pretty fun topic. It also is just fun in general. Everybody loves games, so we all enjoy these elements when we encounter them in our own lives as well, especially me. So let's talk about it. The first thing that we should dive into is, what is gamification? If you don't already know, this is a long explanation, but it's just applying game-like elements to your site for the purposes that we're talking about today, or the application of typical elements of game playing, like point scoring, competition with others, rules of play, etc., to other areas of activity, typically as an online marketing technique to encourage engagement with a product or service. And when it comes to membership sites, oftentimes there's some element of engaging with content, completing content, things like that, especially with online courses or any kind of content that has a natural endpoint. Those are the kind of most basic places that we see gamification with membership sites. Let's talk about some game-like elements, some typical ones that you're going to see. The most obvious one is points. So I love the skee ball imagery here, but points can be any way that you want to quantify user achievements. They're going to be things that users can accumulate over time and typically correspond to the user's status or rewards. This gives a sense of instant gratification to the user, and it's kind of exciting to everybody. Loves accumulating points. We've been doing it in the arcade since we were kids, so it's a pretty fun and one of the more basic elements you can add to your membership site. The next one would be leaderboards. And ranking users is a kind of a fun way to instill some competitive spirit into the membership experience. This will be based on achievements or points accumulated, and it creates a sense of competition and motivation. It's just kind of natural in the human spirit to want to compete with each other. We want to compare ourselves and see how we're doing in comparison to our peers. So it's another fun competitive element. Levels correspond quite naturally with memberships in general because you often have different membership levels. So in terms of gamification, levels are going to represent progress or proficiency. So you might have, you're going to have maybe a beginner level and an advanced level, or whatever it corresponds with on your site. But it's really easy to work with levels when it comes to gamification because you can naturally incentivize members to move up or unlock different things according to their proficiency or things that they complete. So yeah, unlocking new challenges or features as members progress is a common way to do it. And it provides members with goals to aim for, so they get excited about that. Achievements is the next one. This is a pretty common one as well. You'll see badges and things of that nature. It recognizes users and whatever milestones they've accomplished. It's a way to celebrate these milestones, gives people a sense of accomplishment and recognition. One of the most basic ways to do that is just to have a badge for a different membership level, especially if you have a natural progression in your membership for people to move through different levels. It's a fun way for them to feel like they've leveled up. They have some kind of recognition for that. And challenges are another one. This can be in the form of an individual challenge according to someone's individual proficiency level or point in the member journey. It can also be a challenge with other members, competition, something like that. So these are going to be, in general, tasks or goals users will strive for. They can vary in difficulty. Challenges, we had somebody refer to a boss battle, which is kind of funny. I mean, you could even put something like that at the end of a sequence of content where you have a particularly difficult challenge to finish out that level. And challenges lead to rewards, often lead to rewards on completion. So there will be some form of reward, whether it's points or unlocking new content or some recognition, something like that. And this motivates and engages users and keeps them moving towards finishing the challenge and leveling up. Progress bars are another one you've probably seen if you've used any SaaS or apps or anything like that to complete some kind of course or progress-based activity. And this will rank your users. I'm sorry, not rank your users, but I think I put the wrong thing in here. Anyway, show you where you are in your progression of the content. Sorry, brain is like dirt. And creates a sense of competition and motivation, just like the other stuff, but it's more individual, shows you where you're progressing, gives you a sense of how much more do I have to go before I get to the next reward and things like that. Okay, brain, come on. Then we have rewards. So this is the fun part for everybody. This kind of overlaps with the other stuff. There's a lot of things that overlap here, but badges, points, privileges, new levels, or exclusive content can all be different forms of rewards, things that motivate your users to complete things, complete challenges, complete content. And it's just a fun way to motivate and acknowledge user effort. So let's talk about why it is a fun and good idea to gamify your membership site. With memberships, we talk about engagement all the time. It's super important for just keeping people around, paying on a monthly or yearly basis. For digital business in general, engagement is really important, but for memberships, we really put an extra emphasis on this just because of the nature of recurring payments and keeping people sticking around and avoiding churn and things like that. So with gamification, there's a lot of increased engagement because games are fun. It makes your membership site just more fun, enjoyable, and engaging to use. It also gives you better member retention as a result, because a fun and rewarding user experience means that members are more likely to keep paying for your membership over time. Encouraged behavior. Game-like elements are such a great way to incentivize certain behaviors, and it helps you guide your members towards certain things that you want them to do, like completing something, leveling up, and perhaps upgrading to a new membership level that gives them more advanced content and you an increased recurring rate per month. You can guide people through different member pathways as well. And just there's so many different ways that you can encourage behavior with gamification. Community building might not seem so obvious, but with things like leaderboards and competitions, challenges, and the competitive spirit of the whole gamification thing, it's really a way to bring people together and get them interacting. So if you're building an online community in particular, gamification is a really great way to get people to start interacting. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to get people to start engaging with your site. And it can be kind of hard at the beginning because you want to start discussions, you want to do all these things, and also attracting new members really depends on how active your community looks and things like that. So putting this fun element that attracts people and gets them starting to get moving into your community is a really great way to do it. These game-like elements inspire competition and collaboration, fostering a sense of community. Enhanced learning. We work with online course creators all the time. Courses are one of our biggest segments here at Paid Memberships Pro. And I personally have had a lot of experience with this one where online course products and apps that I use heavily rely on gamification, because learning, for some reason, it just feels really good to complete something, learn a new thing, and get a new proficiency level and be rewarded for that, be acknowledged for that, and get some form of reward that makes you want to keep going and gives you some sense of satisfaction that you've invested your time in this thing. So online courses and other educational memberships in particular are much more enjoyable and effective with game-like elements involved. User satisfaction is huge. Like we were talking about with engagement, to get people to keep paying every month, you want them to be satisfied and happy with their memberships. So when things are, more fun for them, more enjoyable, and they have a sense of achievement and progress, they're much more likely to feel satisfied with their membership, feel like they're getting something out of it. They're really getting a lot of reward and just enjoyment. How to gamify a membership site. We're going to talk about the kind of different aspects of it. We're not just talking about the technical part. So just as a forewarning, we're not going through like a how-to technical tutorial here, but let's talk about kind of the process of how you're going to decide what to use on your site and how to gamify it for your specific use case. And remember, the game elements that you choose should align with the goals and values of your site and its members. So think carefully about, we're going to talk about how to think carefully about this. Number one, identify your objectives. So define why you're adding gamification to your site. These objectives will shape your gamification strategy. You need to be purposeful with this because you don't want to just gamify your site for no reason. And there has to be some thing that you're getting out of it or your users are getting out of it. So think carefully about what your purpose is there. So these objectives can be things that we talked about, like boosting engagement, increasing retention, encouraging behavior, enhancing learning, and building community. Step 2, understand your audience. Getting to know your users, their preferences, motivations, and behavior patterns will help you choose elements that resonate with your audience. So in order to figure this out, if you don't already have a firm grasp on who your audience is, you can do things like survey and poll members to find out what they enjoy most, use site analytics to track their behavior and what content they're interacting with so you know better what kinds of things they respond well to. Engage with your members in forums to gain insights. So participate in discussions and be open to learning about what it is that they're looking for or that they like. Offer detailed member profiles to collect more info. So when they sign up and fill out their profile, they give you automatically more information that might lead you to be able to make those decisions. And monitor your online presence to understand user concerns. This can be just social media or whatever conversations are happening around your content and your brand, to get an idea of what they like and what they're looking for. Step number 3, choose the right plugin. So we're talking about this from a WordPress perspective. Obviously, here at Paid Memberships Pro, we are fans of WordPress. So our members, our Plus members, if you use Paid Memberships Pro and you have a Plus membership, you get automatic access to gamification add-ons like member badges and goals progress bar. Member badges allows you to assign unique member badges or images to each membership level and display via shortcode or template PHP function. And goals progress bar is actually, I just want to clarify that this is actually intended more for internal use. So you can display a progress bar to show you how well you're doing with membership site signups, sales, or revenue goals. So it's not so much the user side as much as the internal side for that one. You can also use plugins like GamiPress and BadgeOS. We offer integrations for both of those as well, if you need more robust gamification options. But you don't even necessarily have to use a plugin. There's a lot of ways that you can design your site to incorporate these principles without necessarily having a plugin. Step number 4, define your reward system. Decide what actions will earn users points, badges, or other rewards. Make sure these actions support your membership goals. So here's some examples of actions that you might want people to take that would trigger a reward. Login activity, like number of logins per month, or you've logged in every day this week, or something like that. First time events, like first forum post, comments, contributions, completed quizzes, etc. Or you've completed your first course, here's a reward. Referring a friend, participating in something like a live webinar or a live chat or some other event. Completing a desired action, like finishing their user profile. I've seen that one a lot. It even shows you maybe your progress towards finishing your profile. You're 70% complete, finish your profile and you'll get access to this or that. Or maybe you'll be allowed to start participating in a forum because you've finished your profile. Loyalty to your site. Somebody's been a member since this time. Maybe it's a month, maybe it's a year, and they get certain rewards for that. These rewards can be things like loyalty points, badges, achievement certificates, access to exclusive content or features, discounts, free gifts or add-ons, a feature on your site like a customer showcase, or just putting the spotlight on someone to show that they've done a good job with something. Maybe they've learned something, increased their proficiency, completed a challenge, something like that. Gift cards or credits, exclusive event invitations, and other forms of recognition or status symbols. Step number 5, set up levels or milestones. If you want members to progress down a certain path, set up various levels or milestones that they can reach. And like I said before, this can just naturally work really well with the levels that you already have planned for your site or that you're already using on your site. These levels could be things like activity-based levels, move up a level after completing a certain number of activities like comments, posts, or something like that. Duration-based levels, moving up a level after a certain time frame. Achievement-based levels, moving up upon completion of a course or other action. Points-based levels, moving up when a certain amount of points are collected. Milestones, specific goals or points in the member journey that can be celebrated. And you could even move a member up a level as well once they reach a certain milestone, of course. Special achievements. These are often more difficult levels or milestones that offer higher rewards. Like perhaps you have a certain member journey, people are going along and completing these tasks, but then you have something that's a little more challenging and they have the opportunity to maybe gain access to exclusive content or maybe even skip a level or something like that if they show a certain level of proficiency, complete this quiz or something like that. I actually have seen this. I'm going to reference Duolingo a couple of times here because they usually, I go through their app quite frequently with different languages that I'm learning. And I really like how they have it laid out because they give you the opportunity to um, take on these extra hard challenges, and then you can skip and move up to a different proficiency level. And, it's just more fun if you're really into advanced language learning to be able to move up faster. I don't have a screenshot for that, but you can see their interface here anyway. I'm talking about now step number 6, customizing the user interface. Duolingo does a great job of this, where on the home screen, it shows you everything that you want to see, where you're at, to figure out how you're doing. You got your points, where you are on the leaderboard, and for example, we were talking about activity-based rewards like, oh, you've logged in every day this week, or you don't want to break your streak. So with Duolingo, you don't want to break your daily streak, your practice streak. And it kind of incentivizes you to make sure you check in and keep doing it daily. So just in general, game-like elements should be clearly visible and well integrated into your site so that users can easily track their progress and see their rewards. And with this example, like I said, I just love being able to look and see, this is where I'm at. This is how well I'm doing in comparison to my peers. And there's a lot of fun involved in it. So they do a really good job with that. This can be things like progress bars, leaderboards, badges, notifications, dashboard, just in general, having a really easy to use, clean dashboard, reward options and requirements. Maybe you want to show your members all the different rewards that they could get if they complete certain actions and what the requirements are to get those rewards. So they have a clear idea of what they need to do to get it. Any instructions that you may have for going through the content and achieving certain levels and rewards. Customization options for customizing your avatar and things of that nature. And step number 7, test your new gamification system. Before rolling it out to all your users, be sure to test your gamification system thoroughly to make sure it works as expected. And a couple of things to remember here is you can start small. You can start with just a couple of things like badges and points. Create a test group. Maybe you have a small number of loyal users or trusted users that you feel comfortable, testing these things out on and getting feedback from them. There's nothing wrong with starting small. You don't have to roll it all out at once. Step number 8, launch and monitor. Launch your gamification features and monitor their effectiveness. Gather user feedback and be prepared to make adjustments as necessary. So this involves, a lot of monitoring, seeing how things are doing. Are your members more engaged after adding these features? Are they earning? Are they using their rewards? Are they progressing through the levels as you expected? And collect feedback. Regularly ask for feedback from your test group. Find out what they liked most and engaged with, and anything they disliked as well. And if you're using a trusted group of people like that, you feel maybe more comfortable asking for this feedback, and maybe they feel more comfortable sharing it as well. So it's nice to have that small group if you can. Step number 9, iterate and improve. So gamification should be an ongoing process. It's not something that you just add a bunch of stuff to your site one day and it's magically done. It really depends on your users. It depends on your site, your type of content, all those things. So keep refining your approach based on the feedback that you're getting. And your site may change over time. Your needs may change, and it's totally fine to keep adjusting over time. You're going to make adjustments based on this feedback. You might end up tweaking things like your rules, adjusting point values, or clarifying instructions. And like we were talking about before, expand gradually. Start small, and then once you're confident in the system that you've created and it's working well with your test group, you can gradually roll it out to more members. And yes, fine tune over time. So continue tracking metrics and making adjustments as needed. It's something that you're just going to need to do a lot of experimentation probably because every site is so unique. But these kind of typical elements are just really good places to start because they're so tried and tested, and people just, these elements we've had in our lives for so long, everybody is familiar with them and gets excited by them. It's kind of human nature. So it's a great place to start. We've got some additional resources as well that we're going to pop in the description of this video, including a blog post called Add Gamification to Your Membership Site, and the links for the software that we discussed, from the Goals and Progress Bar add-on for Paid Memberships Pro, member badges for Paid Memberships Pro, as well as our GamiPress and BadgeOS integrations. So if you're looking for those, you can find those in the description. And you can also get a link for this presentation if you want to use it to follow along and plan your own gamification system. That was a lot of words. So I'm ready for some questions if you guys are ready for me.
That was awesome. And you were so worried that it was going to take you 3 minutes to get through all of that. But it took you 26 minutes to get through all of that.
Yeah.
So you're halfway through your time already. So Mandy's ready for questions. If you have a question, go ahead and throw them in the chat. That way I have them. Other than that, I did see that Mike is here from our question docket that we have, Mandy. And your screen is no longer being shared. So if you want to do things on your computer to also see it, you can. But Mike said true gamification goes beyond PBLs with avatar selection and customization, interaction with other players with different skill sets, chart your own adventure, boss battles, etc. How can we incorporate some of these elements too?
So I asked Kim Coleman, our fearless leader, about some of these things as well, because she has maybe more technical knowledge than me. But with this question, this is an interesting one. So I liked the boss battle reference. I think gradually increasing your challenges over the course of a level, let's say, and then having one super hard one at the end that, it depends on the nature of your membership. Maybe you want it to be something that even if they don't complete it or they aren't able to complete it, that it doesn't stop them from progressing. But maybe you want it to be particularly difficult. Like even if you have, this was with respect to online courses. No, it was just in general. But if you did have an online course, for example, that's a great one to just, if you want to do it on hard mode, somebody wants to level up, offer them that option of just taking the advanced quiz that might allow them to place out of something or move forward more quickly. Let's see here. With the other parts of that question, you could use user profile fields to help users self-identify, and then use custom logic to match them with someone else with another similar skill set. Kim, if Kim wants to comment more on that, maybe she has more knowledge about the technicalities. But she did mention also charting your own adventure could be something like a quiz built with a form builder, where you design it in a certain way to help people narrow in on what content in the site best fits their problems. Let's see. I'm just looking at that again. Yeah, you could unlock certain matching people with different skill sets, is kind of tough, but it's like if they complete a certain quiz and they do well in a certain part of the quiz, or they are particularly proficient in one thing, maybe those users could be matched to users with similar results and be able to have access to the same section of a forum or the same exclusive content designed for people with that proficiency.
Or even match them up with somebody with a different skill set. Like one,
Yeah.
like how you and I work together pretty much, of like, you're very like content driven and creative, and I'm more like, let's organize this.
Yeah, I'm the wily creative type that Sam has to rein in usually. That's why I stumble over my words a lot, you guys. Brain's just everywhere.
Kim also said you'd want to first collect the user data and then whenever manually or through custom code show different directories to different people based on their fields.
Mm.
As far as the user fields go for that question.
Yeah, I'm still learning a lot of the technical side of things. I'm more on the content side, so it's really fun for me to get these questions and have to think my way around it and learn more about that.
Oh, and if you're not paying attention to the comments, Kim Coleman is asking if Ryan is here. If you could tell us what PBL is an acronym for, none of us on the team have heard of that. Points, badges, and levels. There you go. Oh, Mike answered that for us. Yeah. I did not know that. So that was good. So nobody else that submitted a question ahead of time seems to be in the chat. So I don't know if you want to dive into those or not, but if you guys have questions, please send them our way. Or if you just want us to like drive the conversation in some way, let us know.
Well, there was one question that Christopher submitted earlier. How do you set up a sustainable point system? And we weren't totally sure what he meant by that, but there was one thing that came to mind, which is if you have a point system, maybe you're concerned that, well, what happens if people just maybe they're one of those people that forgets about their membership and they let a year go by and they accumulate points just for being a member for that long or something. And then all of a sudden they want to use all these points to redeem some kind of credit for a product or something like that. And you want to really have more control over how people are using their points. So maybe you add an expiration to them, or maybe each point is good for 1 year after it's earned, something like that.
PetSmart does that to me, and I don't appreciate it.
You've accumulated all these PetSmart points, and you're like, I'm gonna go spend them, and they're like, no.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
I do Ebenezer's food on like auto ship, so like I just rack up all of these points, and if I don't go into the store and use them, then after I think it's a year they expire, and then I can't use them. I'm like, come on.
Bummer. I have
Give me the
a
free
Splice
money.
membership. Yeah, I know. This is not the same thing. I have a Splice membership for music production samples, and I've just never used it. So I've had it, I think, for 2 years now, and I just have a ridiculous amount of credits, which is really convenient when I want to go download a bunch of different samples. But it's just kind of funny. It's like with certain types of memberships, there may be product-based memberships where people have credits, points that go towards credit towards a product or a service, and it's just really not maybe what you wanted as the membership site owner for them to kind of use those way after the fact, Kim also mentioned something about that. Let's see. Maybe you need to make points reset so it doesn't get out of control. Limit ways people can cheat to get points. That's a good point too. No pun intended.
Apparently, Jason is a member of Splice that you're a member of too.
Oh yeah.
And Kim said that she's so angry about that monthly fee because you keep paying or you lose your credits.
On Splice?
But I guess so.
No, I've accumulated I have 2,000 credits or something. No, I have a lot. I don't think they expire.
Oh, if you don't pay though.
Oh, if you don't pay. Yeah. That's a real trick, because even personally, I've noticed that I don't want to give up that membership because I've accumulated so many now. It's like, oh, I lose all these credits if I stop
you have
paying.
To spend them all and then remove your membership.
I know. I need to, because it's getting out of control.
Kim, are we sure Jason just doesn't want to stop paying for that? It's not actually a thing.
Kim, tell me what Jason wants from the Splice store, because I have tons of points. I'll download it. Kim also said, just like any promotion or sales strategy, marketing strategy in your business, never make a choice to do something that is going to bite you later. So it's smart to think about when you're setting up your point system, how you want that to work. And think about the edge cases. So the people that are going to be maybe forgetting about their membership and then logging in 8 months later, what is that going to look like for them? And how do you want them to be able to deal with those points that are maybe loyalty points based on their time as a member? There's so many other scenarios that I can't think of right now, but yeah, it helps to set that up at the beginning as opposed to trying to deal with it later when they come back 5 years down the line with 200 points that they want to spend.
Yeah. Someone's asking if this will be available later as a YouTube video. This will be available in one of two ways, depending on how we decide to make this happen. We will either keep this live public for anybody to come back to our channel and watch it, or we will make it unlisted and we will polish a recording of this and have it as a YouTube video. So one of two ways it will be available. We just haven't determined which way yet. Oh, Kim has a question. When is a good time to start thinking about gamification? We talked a lot in-house about people focusing on the wrong aspect of their membership site at the wrong time.
Yeah, I would say, right at the start is not the best time for the most part because you're still trying to validate your minimum viable product. You're trying to validate that your membership idea is indeed going to work and is going to be worth your time and effort. So probably that is not the time to implement a lot of bells and whistles because you're still trying to see if the basic idea is working. Having said that, if
learning your audience as well.
Yeah.
So you don't know which gamification type engagement aspect your audience is going to want because you haven't developed that audience yet.
Yeah. However, it could be that, your type of content would really benefit from certain elements of gamification. Even if it's just one thing I didn't mention that I should have mentioned was achievement certificates. Or I didn't talk about it too much. But with things like online courses, achievement certificates are a really easy way to gamify your site without a lot of extra effort. You could, send a user a certificate upon the completion of your course. Just something as simple as that. If they're completing the course, that they are getting the value from your membership and your membership is indeed working. So I would say that that's a good one to add in that requires relatively little investment.
Another kind of, I would say it's gamification-esque, is like on our blog for Paid Memberships Pro, we have the progress bar of when you're reading the blog posts. And that's something that you could add at the beginning and not have to, that's very minimal. Mm-hmm. Your audience, most audiences appreciate that.
And also just having user badges based on level. It's kind of a natural way to kind of, I have the silver badge, I want the gold badge. Maybe I want to eventually upgrade or I want to complete this content in order to reach the level. In general, those things are relatively simple, but points at which you might want to add gamification, certainly after you've validated your minimum viable product and you see that you're going to definitely continue with this membership business. There's no question about that so much. Then it's probably worth going in and adding, all of the elements that or at least a couple, like we talked about, starting small, testing a few out. With anything like that, you want to always test before you invest. Test before you invest.
Yep. That circles back to the MVP, minimum viable product.
Yeah, if anybody, we have a post on that as well. I don't know if we want to throw that link into, but.
Let's see if I can search for it real quick.
There was also a question about how can we gamify our video courses in creative and art subjects? And that's kind of a fun one. I would say with video in general, instead of thinking about gamifying the video itself, because how much of that can you really do without complicating your experience a little bit? You can at least have some kind of recap quiz with some form of completion reward, like points or like a certificate would be the easiest one. So Kim also had some good ideas for this one. She talked about requiring people to submit finished work and put it on a gallery on the site with upvoting or likes. It's kind of a fun idea. You could also, if it's a group course, you could invite people to submit to a competition or something like that. And yeah, give people certificates of completion. She said that's, yeah. This is a nice one too. Give people an incentive of personalized work review. So maybe, if they complete their work by a certain time or just complete it in general, maybe they get access to some kind of critique or something like that. I'm trying to think of other ways to make it more creative and fun.
The question that Dave submitted, for new members, what is a good Gamify way to start people off as a new member and do something weekly? That Kim had a really interesting answer to that one too.
Yeah, she said I would make a welcome email series with weekly tasks and incentivize them to click the links in the email or on the site. Add a tag to their user when they click the links and run some report or incentive or an incentive if a user has all these specific tags. One thing I noticed with getting started, I've noticed this with a couple of different apps. It happens to be that I see this more with apps because I'm using a lot of stuff on my phone. But this could absolutely be applied to a membership site with or without an app. But just logging in, just getting rewards for logging in. So it's like rewarding the user for engaging. Once they're doing that regularly, then maybe get rewards or extra points for completing specific tasks, but just getting them to the site regularly and giving them some incentive to do that. So with Duolingo, if I miss a lesson or I miss a day of study, I'll get an email that's like, oh, you made Duo sad. Duo is their little mascot, the owl. And it's like, you made Duo sad. Of course, like, oh, who wants to make Duo sad? That's horrible. I want him to be really happy. Let's go back and learn some more languages.
Might have to start putting on our tweets, like, click the link or you're going to make Nugget sad.
Nobody wants to make Nugget sad. So yeah, you can just send a quick email to either say, hey, you did a great job. You logged in today. That's 1 day out of 7. Let's see if we can get 7. Or let's see if we can get 2. Now we've got 2. Let's see if we can get 3,
Sensible Senko said, could you do those that give feedback points? If maybe that was on another point that you were talking about, I'm not sure, but Sensible Senko, maybe you want to give us more information on that to respond better.
Let's see. Well, one thing that comes to mind while we're talking about that is you could actually also reward people for giving feedback. So they're giving you, maybe your test group is giving you feedback on your new game elements on your site, but also they're getting some reward for giving that feedback. So it's incentivizing them to really be thorough. Maybe they get more points if they try this feature and try that feature. So that they're really trying everything that you've put together instead of just giving you feedback and they've only tried 1 out of 3 elements or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What incentive can I give the team to listen to Kim and I's test podcast?
My incentives are all like physical gifts.
Well, that's a little hard to do when everybody's spread across the world.
Yeah, true.
It would take 3 months to get through customs.
Kim has a comment.
Yeah, Kim's child loves the ranking stuff in Duolingo.
Yeah. It is actually really good.
I used to use Duolingo, but then I gave up on learning languages.
You know, that reminds me too, they also send these emails that are like, oh, I just got one the other day that was like, Kyle passed you. He has more points than you. Aren't you sad about it? It's like,
they like
it's
to
so
pull at your
competitive.
emotions.
But it makes you, it's like, oh, I've fallen behind. And you know, when it's a learning-based membership, nobody wants to fall behind. Everybody wants to learn and get to the next level, and so that stuff works well.
Sensible Senko about feedback said, we have videos that people can comment and like on. Also, we have sponsored companies that people can add development ideas to. I suppose that they could be added to with points. It's a good idea.
You mean like give people points for engaging with those things?
Mm-hmm. At least that's what I'm understanding.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Sorry, I was just thinking. Brain was processing.
I think we've covered pretty much all the questions that we had.
Yeah, I was looking to see if there was any of the other ones that I didn't answer.
The only one on the paper or on the document that we haven't answered is more technical, which that's hard for us to do. But it's also refreshing to not have like a really technical tutorial for today.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of that. I'm not the technical tutorial person, so.
Kim says we're going to work on a BadgeOS or GamiPress tutorial video. There you go. There's your technical. Cool. TBD.
We've got people from the East Coast today, looks like.
Yeah. Somebody from Fort Lauderdale represent Florida. And someone from PA representing Kim and Jason. Oh, which plugin are you guys more impressed by, BadgeOS or GamiPress? I don't have experience with either one of them personally. I don't know if Kim has an opinion or not. I know they're both third-party integrations, so.
Yeah, I'm going to let Kim answer that one. But I do know that.
She's in the comments.
I have interacted with GamiPress people, and they were really cool. But that's my only my only interaction.
Yeah, I haven't worked with either one of those.
Can't send Kim on a live coding experiment today. Well,
no. I mean, I can invite her to the stream for the last 10 minutes, but
GamiPress is definitely the market choice, more installations. From Fort Lauderdale, lived in Orlando, and now in LA.
I used to live in Orlando. Now I live in Jacksonville. LA is a far jump, though. BadgeOS was funny about keeping their integration was active because of the low install count. Weird. Okay.
I was looking at, actually, I was looking at both of these today, and I noticed that both of them have some form of progress map, like an interactive progress map, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm looking at the BadgeOS site, and it has this add-on that allows a site creator to create a map of the various achievement and rank types and indicate what have been completed and what remains to do, which is, I think that's one of the most helpful features in my personal experience. But GamiPress also has the same type of thing called Progress Map. Their price point's a little bit lower as well for that, but similar kind of thing. And yeah, both of them have, the points and rewards and badges, points, achievements, and ranks things. So kind of curious about the differences with the add-ons.
Sounds like Gamipress is the better one. Kim says, I'd say find one that has integration with all the other aspects of your membership site. That is a big key there, because you don't want to get somebody, or you don't want to get something that's not going to work with everything. Not necessarily the PM Pro integration, but if you use BBPress or BuddyPress or your LMS, make sure that either BadgeOS or GamiPress or another gamification plugin works with everything that you do have on your site. That's important.
Yeah, especially if you're going to, give people, you want to give people access or unlock things like forums or courses, or, if you're using an LMS, you could run into issues if you chose something that didn't play well with that, for sure.
Yeah, and if you already have your site set up and you're adding gamification to it, you definitely don't want to run into the problem of having to figure out what to remove to get it to work.
Not fun.
Well, we are getting close to end of time. Normally we have these every other week, but somebody allowed Jason and Kim to go on vacation when we would have our next one. I don't know who did that. But instead of the 22nd, we're going to have another open office hours next week, June 15th. Jason's going to be here presenting pricing your membership levels. And Jason's request for this is kind of challenge him a little bit and send in like what your idea of pricing membership is. If you are thinking about changing your pricing, what your structure is, and Jason kind of wants to run through numbers and kind of get into like the accounting side of things next week live, which is interesting. What am I in charge of now? Somebody. Sensible Senko says I'm really in charge. Uh-oh. Yes, spreadsheets are Jason's favorite. Oh, I'm the one that let Jason and Kim go on vacation? I don't know about that.
Is there any game element that we didn't cover, that we didn't talk about, that you guys are curious about, or I don't know, that we missed?
I mean, nobody's chiming in on anything, but I mean, we covered a lot of what you can do to gamify things without it, being a video game.
The fun part too, I think, is that you can really customize to the personality of your membership site. I mean, you can choose instead of points, you can choose coins. You can choose, like Duolingo does, gems and different things. There's all these cute ways that you can really make it fit the personality of your site. So if you have a certain topic or something that has a certain style to it, there's a lot of different ways that you can customize your game elements to reflect that, which is really fun. So it's a pretty fun way to not only add more engaging elements to your site, it's a way to actually customize your site as well. But all of it boosts the user experience a lot and makes it more sticky, makes it more fun for people. And at the end of the day, people a lot of times pay for stuff that they just really like using. So
Awesome. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up gamifying your membership site. And like I said, this will be available in one of two ways. I'm not sure which one yet. Maybe the YouTube video and not have this public, just because that presentation was amazing and our chatting and questions is less amazing. But tune in next week with Jason and I, and we're going to dive into some numbers of helping you guys price your membership sites.
Good stuff. Thank you all for your questions and for your participation, and happy to have you today. Really appreciate it. It was fun. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments of the video or of, no, we're not going to do that. So never mind.
If you have more questions, you can contact us at paidmembershipspro.com/contact.
Exactly.
Or contact.
Exactly.
And we can get you the answer that you need. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, everyone.